Hey everyone, welcome to Fashion Design with Hannah. Today we'll be going over the state of the fashion industry. That is because a lot of you are familiar with the fact that there are a lot of stores closing. A lot of major retailers like Century 21 and Lord & Taylor, along with small boutiques and designer brands, they can't handle what the pandemic has thrown at them. They are closing their doors for good. And for a lot of people, that begs the question of how are they going to get their clothing? I mean, it doesn't mean that the industry is gone. It just means that it has changed. And for some, those changes are really difficult to make, and a lot of companies have issues adjusting, whether it be they becoming digital, as in selling their stuff online, helping their workers work from home, or just general, they can't survive the pandemic. Let's say that they were based out of solely brick and mortar and they didn't have a budget to go online. There are still plenty of major companies that don't have something online. And in order to do the web design, all the photography, all of the inventory online, that's a lot of cost to take on, especially when they've never budgeted for that before. And it can be too much. Although it does start to look into the wages that are actually paid for these workers, whether it be the designers, other creatives like photographers and web designers, and the actual store employees versus the CEOs or the top tier people. However, this doesn't mean that the industry is truly dead. It just means that it's evolving, and maybe that is a good thing. People always need clothing to wear. You have people who are moving to new climates, maybe for jobs, a new job, so that new career attire. Kids who are outgrowing their previous clothing, they'll need new clothes. And thrifting isn't quite for everyone, but it does start to wear on a consumer on how long they are keeping their clothing. Is their budget going to work for this clothing? It might start to change the industry in the sense that there might not be as many trends. Fast fashion is already starting to die. Slow fashion is starting to take over. I don't know if that will remain, but I hope so. I'm a little bit more into sustainability. I don't want to really give in to all of the horrible things that the fashion industry contributes to this earth. I do plan on living on this earth for a while, and climate change really affects that. And the fashion industry really affects that as well. It's the number 2 industry for the harm done to this planet behind agriculture. You can check sources on that. That's kind of all over. The luxury sector doesn't contribute as much, so I'm sure some people there will be arguing, but people have to have the constant flow of money for luxury purchases. I am not sure how long that will continue to thrive. I'm not an economist there. I'm not an economist in general, but you do see the effects on the workers who are in fast fashion or the in-between, medium, slow fashion. Those who are part of the contemporary level or bridge level for designers. The fast fashion companies were already typically short-staffed, and how they made money was keeping their staff small so that we could keep producing more and more and have their margins be a little bit bigger for the really cheap clothing that they put out. And they're making their staffs even smaller so that way they can keep producing at a lower price, so that way consumers can keep buying it. However, that does make it really difficult for the creatives who are on those staffs and makes them, very stressed out. And then what are the people who are unemployed going to apply to? I mean, that makes people who are in the creative fields really begin to question, do I want to stay in this? And for a lot of people, they still do. You'll see the job boards that are posted and that keep track of the applicants. If you miss that job posting by one day, there's already 300 applicants or more already in line for that job. It was a competitive field to begin with, and it's now made even more competitive. However, with more stores and factories opening around the world, jobs are starting to open up. So if you are looking to continue in the fashion industry, things are looking up. There are companies that are starting to take spins in slightly different directions. They noticed that their sleepwear or their loungewear categories were really booming. Everyone wants the new set of PJs because they're working from home. They want to be comfy. And through all this mess that 2020 has been, can't they at least be comfortable while working from home? So yeah, there's a lot of companies who are then expanding their businesses into things that they didn't see themselves originally being in. And there's money being made there. For now, the industry is still very much alive, but it's changing. So whether or not you like those changes is totally up to you. I'm staying in it. It's still my passion. And for many people, it will be. You'll see that even with fashion weeks coming up, the creative industry is being creative. They don't have to do their fashion week traditional show on the runway with many people crowded in. They can do their fashion show online and live stream it, put it up on YouTube, or go back to kind of the classic lookbook. Maybe even do events like out in the city just walking around and then filming that and then putting that online. There are many more ways to be creative and still be safe during the pandemic, and we'll always be ever adapting to that. It's kind of what we do. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave a comment below on what you'd like to see in the next video. Bye! What was I talking about? You tell me in the comments below. I think I liked my first take more.